sales. And as we dive into this conversation, I want to dispel one thing. Sales is not a negative thing. Every single one of you has had to do it. What matters is why you're doing sales. If you have a heart to serve, i.e., if I had the cure to cancer, would any of you hesitate to sell the cure for cancer? Even if you're not a salesperson, right? I mean, many of us have had our lives affected by it, right? If any of you are married or have ever gone out on a date, guess what? You had to do sales because you had to convince somebody to put up with your ugly rear end, right? Bradley, that's you. I can see you laughing. You're like, yep, that's me. Okay. So we've all had to do sales. And hopefully through this process, when we talk about branding yourself, sales is super important in getting you guys jobs. You would not believe how many interviews I've sat on, and I want to come through the freaking Zoom and strangle you guys because you haven't made the transition in your mind from what we've all done for however long to what you're about to do, i.e., no company is going to hire you when you tell them you plan on being promoted into another company in 3 years. That's common in our line of work in the military, right? None of us expect to be there in 3 years. Don't tell the company that kind of stuff. So that's just a little bit of background about me. But Matt, back to you.
No, that's really good information because I mean, obviously, a lot of us have been we are indoctrinated into the military machine, right? And whether you've been in for 4, 6, or even 20 plus years, you are accustomed to understanding that every 3 years I'm leaving. And in the civilian world, that's not the case. And that's actually looked and frowned upon, obviously, because you're looking at taking advantage. They want to get out of you as much as they can. That's why we want you guys to find your passion, get connected with not just a job, but with something that's going to excite you and take care of you and your family. And for some of you, you came in like saying, hey, I'm getting a $120,000 a year job because of the skills and experience I have. But in reality, you may be understanding what you need to survive and take care of your family on a realistic level. Some of you may be like, you know what? I'd rather take 70,000 and be excited to walk into that job each and every day. And for some of you, that's going to be a choice that you're going to have to make. But when we're talking about, kind of presenting ourselves, John, to our employers, as these folks transition out into the real world, right? What is one big step that they can make right now as they're in this SkillBridge program to put their best foot forward towards an employer?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. I wouldn't say one thing. There's like 3 things I think that all of you guys could do today that would make a huge difference. Is number 1, have a very professional LinkedIn that's been scrubbed and put into civilian context. They don't know what a JSOC is. They don't know what a SOC is. They don't know what a lot of what you guys are, doing throughout your military career. So use ChatGPT, scrub your LinkedIn and make it civilian. Okay, number 1. Number 2, understand that 98% of the people that you talk to, including executives, have less leadership than you. They really do. Even if you're just an E5 or an O3 or an O2, they really don't understand us. The reason why I say that is because you should walk into an interview completely confident. I used to make jokes about this because I just, I thought it was funny in the 90s. They used to talk about that the military was the number 1 leadership organization in the world. And I was like, have you ever sat through any of our meetings? Like, there's nobody who really thinks this, right? Then I became a civilian and worked in the civilian world for 25 years. I'm here to tell you, we are by far millions of miles ahead of them. Unless you're talking like Elon Musk or something like that. Okay. So walk into whatever scenario that you're going into. I don't care if it's cyber or sales or human resources or you're staying with Seven Eagle, right? Whatever it is, you should walk in with the confidence that you are the person for the position. Like I have literally in my own life, and those people came back to pay me hundreds of thousands of dollars, told interviewers, you will make the greatest mistake of your life by not hiring me for this contract. And in 3 months, you'll be seeing me again, wishing you had hired me. That literally came to pass. And that particular military organization ended up paying me hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's the confidence you need when you walk into every single interview and know that you're worth it. Okay. And then number 3 is when you don't know, just say you don't know. Because like Matt said, we've all been indoctrinated and it's okay. It's not going to be fatal. If you're a learner and you're humble, they will look at that positively and ask questions about it, right? So if Matt brought me a question and in my military brain, I'm like, I just tell him, hey, could you break that down in a little more for me? In military, I'm not sure I understand that. And it's not a negative. It's actually a positive.
So you said 2 things, John. There, I'm gonna bring up the first one. Obviously, the bringing in confidence into an interview process is very. You want to structure yourself as being confident when you walk in, but there is definitely a line between being confident and being cocky, which obviously you don't want to exude a little bit of cockiness because that might put some employers off.
Depends.
Okay.
Depends on what the role is.
Okay.
I think it really depends. Obviously, if you're going to work for HR, cocky is probably not the look you want. Okay. If you're going to be a sales hunter, I don't mind the edge. Okay. Show me what you got. Right. So here's another good one. Right. So if you're going into project management or maybe contract acquisitions for a company on behalf of that company back to the government, there's only one thing that separates confidence from cocky. It's whether you can do it. It is not confident for me to tell somebody, you keep mouthing off to me like that, I'm going to beat your ass. That's not cocky. I can do it. I maybe can't do it to everybody, but I can do it. Now, if you weigh 350 pounds and you've never lifted a glove in your life, you probably ought not to talk that way, right? If you're a brand new cyber analyst, you probably should not be telling them that you can stop China from penetrating their company's firewalls, right? Because you're a brand new guy. That would be cocky, right? If you're a recruiter, you probably shouldn't tell them that you can fill all of their needs if you really can't, right? So there is a definite difference between the two. And one is about a real true assessment of your skills. It's cocky if you can't pull it off.
No, that's a good point. I mean, you bring up very unique opportunity, like you said, HR and different positions. Obviously, understanding what you're pursuing and the type of kind of mentality that it takes to fill that role, right?
Yeah, if you're gonna be a counselor, it's probably not a good,
yeah,
right?
Being a bulldog and in sales, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But you said something else at the end there, and you talked about kind of that humility aspect of going in and not being a know-it-all in an interview process. And it's okay to not know everything, right? And it's okay to ask questions. And in fact, a lot of folks tell you to ask questions at the end. And I'm sure you've seen this in a number of interviews that you've done across your career. What are some of the key kind of questions that you've seen from prospective employees coming in that have really resonated with you over time?
Yeah, so there's a couple of really good ones, and I want to tag team that thought with the confidence piece. That company doesn't need you. Okay, they've got hundreds of other applicants. That's one side of this equation. The other side of the equation, and I believe this of all of the veteran community, the other side of that equation is, Matt, you can't do it without me. And I know that might be a stretch for some of you to think about, but you need to live in that disparity. You need to understand that the company has probably 100 other people, but you need to have the confidence that if you hire those other 99, you're an idiot. I'm your guy or I'm your girl. Okay. Now, having said that, if you truly believe that, so think about this. Matt is a good friend of mine. We're peer to peer, right? As we talk, you see us bouncing back and forth with each other. He's not dominating the conversation, and neither am I, because we're peers. In an interview process, you are a peer. Do not let them dominate that conversation if you want that job. Ask good questions. Don't wait to the end. If Matt tells me, hey, we're looking for this and we're looking for this, I should, as soon as he gives me a pause, Matt, you said you were looking for somebody who had an A-type personality. What does that mean to you? And then let Matt talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? And then he talks about the role and what it takes to be in that role. Say, so Matt, once we're done today and you hire me, because my assumption is he's going to hire me, what do I need to do in this role to make you look like a hero? Because I'm telling you guys, every boss, I can say this because I know Jordy very well. He's very happy with Matt because Matt makes Jordy look a lot better. If you go in and you serve your boss and you say, hey, what do I have to do in this role to make you look smart? To make you look like you know what you're doing in hiring. You turn that interview around to where now I'm internally going, oh, I like this. What do I need to tell this guy? What do I need to tell this girl? Because the only way you move up through the ranks is basically by helping other people succeed. That's it. So if I walk out of that interview and Matt's like, I've never had anybody ask me that, I promise you, I'll get the job. Right? So one of the questions that I think all of you should answer, the one that I do at the end, and I think every one of you need to write this down, is, Matt, if you were me being interviewed, what should I ask that I have not asked? I'm asking him to give me the cheat code for what I've missed, because you're not in the company. You don't know the company culture. You don't know their internal KPIs and metrics. So Matt, if you were me, what would you ask that I haven't asked? And then let him answer and then go, great. So what's the answer?
I have heard that one numerous times, right? Like, or asking it kind of in a different way, kind of, hey, if you were on this side of things, or if when you were hired, what is one question you would have asked looking back at your situation, getting hired in the position that you have now? And then gets them to think about, oh, well, I would have asked this. And then you go, okay, well, tell me about that. And it gives you a great segue into it as well, because again, you use them to speak more than yourself. And that's obviously a big sales push, right? Is if you can get them to speak more than yourself, you have the upper hand in that situation.
Yeah. So one of our candidates is in here. Chris is in here. He'll tell you that's what we train those guys to do. It's not that I'm talking a ton. It's that I'm asking questions and then letting you sell yourself.
Yeah. No, that's great. That is great. So, I mean, obviously, this is going to work for some people. A lot of people struggle with it coming out of their shell, right? And maybe taking off the uniform for a little bit and being vulnerable through this situation. What's one thing that you could say to those that are maybe a little bit hesitant a bit about, going into their first interview or being successful right off the bat? What would you say to those folks?
So I'm going to use a story to tell this one. So I was invited to a conference of a bunch of like really high earning salespeople. And the company was facing some issues because people were getting their feelings hurt about being rejected. Okay. My entire talk was, you get to do your job in your underwear, eating ho-hos on the phone with somebody. Nothing you do is difficult. And then I told the story of what we do on a day-to-day basis in the military. And even if you were in the Air Force, you do this kind of stuff, right? So the reason why I say that is stop being the person eating ho-hos. Get out of your shell. You have done more than what 99% of our community, meaning the United States, has ever done. Get out of your shell because you have far more value and skill sets and abilities than what you probably even realize because you're young, right? If any of you are Army, you probably know this name. Matt Larson, the founder of the Army Combatives and the Air Force Combatives program, used to say this about being in the military. What's the greatest thing about being in the military? It's not going to gun ranges and fighting and shooting and all have free healthcare, which all of us know is really not free healthcare because the healthcare is not really anything to talk about. It's that we can make people do what they don't want to do. So that's what I would tell you about getting out of your shell. You need to take your military discipline that you don't really have a right to an opinion there when it comes to getting out of your shell and just do it anyway. Because it will serve you over the length of your career and it will land you jobs and promotions that you will not get if you stay in your shell. So when it comes to that kind of stuff, Matt, I think the answer is you need to treat it like you're still in the military. And some EA just told you you do this or you're in a lot of trouble.
That's an interesting perspective. Like I haven't thought of it that way, and I appreciate you saying that. Because oftentimes we're so used to, at least in this format, in this transition space, we're so used to saying, "Hey, that was a chapter of your life. It doesn't define you." But you're saying there may be instances where you need to draw from your experience and the military and bring that to the forefront when you're going through the interview process.
Yeah. So look, guys, to be successful, you have to work hard and do things you don't want to do. It's the bottom line. And Chris will tell you this. And I can probably confidently say this of most people. I am up and at work before most of you are at PT. And many days I'm at work longer than what you are at home with your family, getting your kids ready for bed. I don't do that because that's what I like to do. Like, I don't like waking up at 4 a.m. and then going, shit, I got a ton of work to do today. Well, I'm up, might as well go start working, right? Now, having said that, you have to have some balance. So 2 weeks ago, I took my kid and we went to the Viking Steeler game in Ireland. I took off work completely because I work for myself so I can do what I want, right? But on a day-to-day basis, I'm usually at work before any of you, and I'm usually not off before any of you are off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody could argue with that. And obviously, you have a unique perspective, being your own boss and stuff like that. And you get to see everything, but you've worked to get to that point.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's not like I got here yesterday.
Yeah,
it took time. But the idea is that mentality that we got from the military has made me who I am today. So don't throw that stuff away just because now, look, I don't care if you kept your hair tight the entire time you were in the military and now you want a goatee and a Fu Manchu and a whatever, right? Like, I'm not talking about any of that stuff. Let your braids down. Do whatever you want to do with whatever's acceptable inside the community that you're going to end up being in. What I am saying is don't discard everything that made you who you are just because now you don't have to do it.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
And the discipline we got from the military will make you a lot of money if you let it.
Yeah. Obviously, John, our program, we bring in speakers from all across the industries and various backgrounds, whether it be veterans to executives and stuff like that. Oftentimes we say, and we kind of joke at this, is we bring in the people that are ignoring you when you submit your application, right? Yes. You get a chance to actually meet them face to face and have that conversation with them. From your perspective and, obviously as a CEO, when you're on this call, you are evaluating individuals through this call.
All the time.
when it comes to our students here on this call that are still looking for an OJT opportunity to leverage that skill bridge, what's one thing that they can do just on this call and interaction with, potential employers, potential hiring managers that really would showcase kind of their excitedness about joining
That's
a
a great
company and
question.
stuff like that?
So here is one thing I've seen from all of the 7 Eagles, all the sales platoon cohorts I've ran, anything I've done, transition space oriented. You guys are still doing the never volunteer. Every single one of you. And I can prove it to you. This comment section is absolutely empty. Except for Walker just popped something in, right? This is, and you guys do this all the time. And I'll frame it this way. If Matt was a billionaire right now, I would do everything possible to make sure every one of you were kicked off the call and I got all of his time to myself. I would be in that chat, in his DMs, finding him on LinkedIn, finding his email, and sending him questions. How in the hell did you get to be a billionaire? Teach me. When they bring in these experts, and I'm telling you, man, I've seen a load of their speakers. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you how many I've been on. And I look at the chat window and you guys are not asking questions. And I don't care if it's even, listen, I am, Walker will tell you this and Robert will tell you this. I'm an idiot when it comes to cybersecurity. I don't speak any of that language, but when I get on the phone with these CISOs for you guys, I'm asking all kinds of questions. I'm trying to learn, how did you go from being an 11 Bravo in the infantry to now being a CISO of a company that's doing 50 million a year, 100 million a year? You guys should all be asking questions of every speaker. You will stick out in their mind. You should look at what 7 Eagles doing. You knew I was coming in. You should have gone and done some reconnaissance and figured out who I was and then had questions staged for me. That's how you'll stick out to these employers. And let me tell you something else. These employers and their recruiters and their ATS systems are built to make sure you never get there. It's why we teach them in Sales Platoon not to use that system. It's broke. And I'll tell you from a sales perspective, if you're even remotely interested in sales, the best thing you could do is pick up the phone and call people and go, I want a job there. Who do I talk to? The recruiter. Now, I don't want to talk to the recruiter. What do you mean you don't want to talk to a recruiter? I'm already doing what I'm supposed to do as a salesperson, which is reaching out to you. I don't want to talk to your recruiter. Who's the sales manager? You want a job at a company? I don't care what the company is. Find somebody who served in that company that does what you want to do, and then message them and let them take you to the person that's going to hire you. Guys, we were all in the military. This is stuff that we should know. So thank you, Robert, for raising your hand. What do you got, buddy?
I just wanted to say that the process works, everybody listening in. I just had an interview myself with one of the companies that John works with. So, the process works. Get out there, reach out to those people. You can only get the opportunities you actually go for. So, but thanks again, John. I have a follow-up tomorrow with Jeff.
Yeah, they liked you too. They already hit me back. Guys, listen, do any of you follow baseball? I don't, but do any of you follow baseball? Okay. So I see a few people raising their hand.
Go Mariners. Go Mariners.
All right. So to get paid millions, what's your batting percentage got to be?
250.
Anybody know? It's less than 30%. So you get to fail 70% of the time at bat and get paid millions. Just swing. You swing enough, you're going to knock one out of the park.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 100%. I mean, you can get in the Hall of Fame with just barely a 30% average. So, just over a 30% average. So that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Somebody put 250. So if you think about that, out of 1,000 swings, you only hit 250. Guys, and I'm not even saying those got to be home runs. How many home runs do you have to hit before you're the next Babe Ruth? In the job market, you just need one opportunity that's willing to pay you what I think you're worth. And I'll say this publicly. I have been, Matt might even remember this, like everybody went bonkers on me. I had like over 1,000 comments in the SkillBridge network on this. If you served honorably, I don't care if you were the flipping cook, you deserve more than $30 an hour. If I were you, I would not ever settle for anything less than $30 an hour. And here's how I can say that with utmost confidence. Even if you absolutely suck at sales, you'll make more than $30 an hour. Get over it. There's money out there for you guys to have.
Generally speaking, to be successful at sales, your batting average is a lot lower than 250 anyway. So
yeah. You start closing 30%. If you close 30% mortgage, you'll make $120,000 this year.
Easy. Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate those insights, John. And, we obviously a great partner of ours that has been with us for a long time now here at Seven Eagle Group. And you have posted some jobs on our job board that you're actively pursuing individuals that are interested in those positions. So if you have a Connect account and it's fully, it's 100%. I know I turned on a couple. I saw some of you guys direct messaged me and I turned those back on. So you can go and apply. So John has some positions on there that he's looking for. He is very active on our site. He will message you. He engages you directly. But what are some of the maybe top 3 or top 5 positions that you're actively searching for right now to kind of
obviously sales? Like I can get you guys sales jobs anywhere pretty much in the country. We have taken 22 of you and put you into what we call field servicing engineers. Walker has an interview tomorrow. That career will pay you $125,000 a year after you've been upskilled in 3 years. So any of you that are an ET or an EM in the Navy, I can get you a job tomorrow. Okay. Cybersecurity. We've got a lot of positions for cybersecurity. Now I will say this, and I'll say this about both cybersecurity and project management. And education is great to have, guys, but that is not what's going to get you hired. So on project management, that certification is great, but you need to understand that's actually not what's going to get you the job. Okay. Same for cyber. So if you actually did cyber in the Army, or in the military, we can get you a position. One of the other ones that we were doing a lot of is I've got 4 IT positions in Dallas. And we started out as just sales, and then as it's grown, the companies we were working with were like, hey, can you get us this guy? Can you get us this guy? The cyber, guys, I'm an idiot. I got punched in the face for a living. And this cyber company has now hired 5 of you guys. Like, I'm not smarter than any of you, I promise. I really am not. And I'm definitely not as good looking as some of you. So if I can do it, you can do it. Chris?
You're muted, Chris.
Hello, John. So for some of us with like niche careers like data analytics or project management, do we just apply through the jobs portal and then interview with y'all to like get us into those positions, or what's the best way?
So we have project management roles. They're very different than what you probably are thinking of, but we have them. It doesn't matter what it is. As these companies that Seven Eagle is partnering with, you guys should be in that job board looking all the time. For me, I'm going to put it in here, and everybody who knows me, like everybody I've called on today, has my personal cell number. Okay. And if you miss it in the chat, it's on my LinkedIn, it's on my website. Feel free to text me and go, hey, I saw you at Seven Eagle. And Derek's been talking to me about doing jiu-jitsu, and I got him a role. They liked him, so I think they're going to move forward with Derek. Just hit me up. Let me help you.
Yeah. And I put John's LinkedIn is right there as well, just above his phone number. I posted it in. So, like we said all the time, right? Everybody we bring in here, even if you're not interested in pursuing a career with that company or whatever, connect with every single speaker that we bring in. Most of them are veterans. They want to help you. So, and they've got great career advice. They'll look at your resumes, like help yourself out by connecting with each.
Let me speak to that, Matt, because I tell my sales platoon class this, and everybody needs to hear it. So, guys, I was in the Army. I was in first of the 187th Rakkasans at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I'm going to give you 5 names who all came from Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Some of them you'll know, some of you won't. Have any of you ever heard of Patrick Bet-David? Multimillionaire, insurance, right? Made his millions by deciding that minorities and women were underserved in insurance. Patrick Bet-David served in the 101st Airborne Division. Okay. Have any of you ever heard of Randy Couture? MMA champion, movie actor now, right? Randy Couture wrestled at the 101st Airborne Division. Okay. Have any of you ever heard of the great guitar player Jimi Hendrix? Jimi Hendrix was in the barracks that I lived in when he was in. He was in the 101st Airborne Division. Any of you ever heard of Elvis Presley? Okay, 101st Airborne Division. The reason why I bring up all these people, do you think anybody that served with any of those people realized that those people would become who they are? You should connect with everybody you served with, every speaker that comes on the 7 Eagle. You should connect with Matt. You should connect with Jordy, because your network is your net worth. And if you don't have anybody on LinkedIn, you're probably not getting a job. And you can friend 125 people a week. It's a requirement in Sales Platoon that by the time you graduate, if you were at 0, you have 500 contacts on your LinkedIn page. It's a requirement. I don't care if they're in the Air Force and half retarded, connect with them.
You got me on that one, John.
I know, I got a couple of you. I watched a couple of you go, come on. Can't help it.
I mean, you got to have fun with this process too, right? And, obviously SkillBridge is there for you guys to take care of yourself, focus on you for a change, but it is serious business too, because, that time frame, whether it be 3 months, 4 months, maybe even if you're lucky enough to have 6 months, that time goes by so fast.
So fast.
And if you're not actively out there engaged with the speakers that we bring on, but also utilizing the tools and skills that some of our speakers come in and what you learned in foundations, you're wasting that time. And I know some of you have different career aspirations. Some might go on to go back to school after SkillBridge and stuff like that. And that's completely fine. But keep these things close hold, still connect with each and every one of these speakers, because you never know. School may not work out for you. And you may be looking for a job on the other end and be, hey, John, remember, I remember you from 7 Eagle Group, da, 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 da. And that can lead to
statistics say that's what's going to happen. The statistics are clear. Transitioning veterans are going to have between 3 and 4 jobs over the next 5 years. That is just the truth, guys, because your whole identity has been wrapped up in serving our country. And so you get into a job, and maybe when you were getting into it, you thought it was the greatest thing. And we see this in sales. Chris has heard me say this. I have a ton of people who come into sales and think that they need a base plus an OTE. They need stability and security. And then after 3 or 4 months, they're like, shit, I should have just stayed in the military. I don't want somebody telling me what time I got to be at work. And then they switch over to commission only. Guys, you don't know where you're going to be in a year from now. And just because there's a company that's super successful right now doesn't mean another COVID doesn't happen and they shut down tomorrow. You need a network because you could be gone tomorrow.
That's absolutely true. There's been so many times where we had speakers come on veteran speakers come on and they say, during those times of struggle where they got laid off because their company was downsizing or X, Y, and Z happened, they didn't get their next position from their own work. Their network circled around them and lifted them back up and gave them opportunities to succeed. So, and that's so true when you say, and I've started before, I'm sure who put a 1 in the chat if you've ever heard your network is your net worth. Who's heard of that before?
It's 100% true. Put it in red letters.
It is very, very true. You'll hear it. And if you've heard me talk in foundations, you've heard me say that I don't even want you in connections. I want you to go doing the OJT. I want you to get connected with a partner company, with somebody that's going to value your experience and expertise, and that's going to lead to that W-2 position that you're going to be passionate about. So utilize while you're here those connections and build out your net worth by connecting that network together. No, I mean, John, it's such a pleasure and honor to have you here. I love having you here, and you're going to be back here next month. We got you on speed dial on our Rolodex, showing my age a little bit. But, what is one last piece of advice for our students here today? Above anything else, let me put it in perspective this way. If we've got somebody on this call that's closing to the end of their SkillBridge opportunity, they just have not been able to connect with an OJT partner or utilizing SkillBridge, and they're scared.
Yeah,
they're scared. What's the advice for those folks, John?
So I'm not going to take it easy on this one, guys. I'm going to hit you right between the eyes with this. I'm in multiple veteran hiring groups where people have gone a year without finding work. And then when I say stuff like, hey, why don't you do this, whatever this is, and they're like, oh, I would never do that. Knock it off. Knock it off. All employment is a stepping stone to whatever's next in your life. It is. I'll brag about Seven Eagle a little bit, because when I met Jordy, who was great and kind, I don't know, Jordy, did you know you were going to end up becoming the largest SkillBridge in the company 2 years ago? Maybe he thought that way. I don't know.
That's always been our hope. So
but in just 2 years, because of the what's happened with everything that's gone on, they're now one of the largest SkillBridges in the country in 2 years. You never know where you're going to be in a year from now. So don't say no. If you don't have any other opportunity right now, so first of all, connect with me. I'll see if I can do something. I'll show you on LinkedIn how you could do it, where maybe it's not one of our partners. Well, I say ours, Seven Eagles, but you know what I mean. It's not one of Seven Eagles partners. But don't be so arrogant that you don't take something that somebody is offering you. Because it's not a contract with the military. You don't have to stay.
Yeah.
Like, you can walk out anytime you want. And the truth is most of these companies, if you die today, they'll have you replaced tomorrow morning.
Facts.
So don't worry about it. If you are on the precipice of getting out and you don't have a job, take what they'll give you. Just take it. And then don't stop building your network and don't stop applying other places. That's what I would say.
No, I think
and if you're too arrogant to do that, then you deserve to not have a job.
I love having you on here, John. Sometimes, those real conversations, some of those hard-hitting conversations have to be had, right? And John's not being mean. He's just being honest and truthful. He's seen it. He's been there. I'm sure he's seen it too many times to count. Veterans going unemployed. And one of our biggest things here is we want to contribute to veteran employment, not veteran unemployment.
That's right.
Which is why we try to do everything we can to help you guys out. And I heard it. We were at the MIC a couple weeks ago, and there was a speaker. He said, you know, it's easy to lead a horse to water. It's just very difficult to drown him, right? So we can do all we can to lead you guys, you know, with resources and tools and stuff like that, and speakers like John to pour into you guys. But he can't. He's not going to be able to drown you. Like, you're going to have to take a step of faith and do something. Maybe even get out of your comfort zone for a minute, right? But yeah, I appreciate that, John. I see some couple hand raised. Nick, go ahead, man.
Well, Jordy had his hand raised for some
We'll get that, Jordy.
Nick, go
I'll
ahead,
get
man.
that, Jordy.
Cleanup hitter.
Hey,
ahead,
hey, so yeah, I'm pretty interested in sales. I was like wondering what Sales Platoon actually teaches you, because I'm trying to figure out like what I need to learn.
Sure.
I know a lot of people are doing really well in sales in San Diego. And they just have like a kind of a different skill set that I have ever gotten. And I'm just kind of curious because they're like saying they're making 200,000 a year, but they're working hard at it, and it's like, I guess not easy, but I want to kind of know what they're doing, and maybe I could do the same thing.
So we had one of our recent graduates make 84K in 4 months. So, and I'm going to let Chris actually answer your question. Chris, do you mind telling him what you're learning? You'll have to probably unmute him, Matt. Raise your hand so he knows who to unmute, Chris. If we can't, then I'll just answer.
He might have stepped
Krishna.
away. Yeah.
Which,
Is it Krishna you want to talk?
Yeah, Krishna.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hi, John, and hi, Jody. So yeah, so I've been to Sales Platoon for like 2 weeks, and I'm learning a lot of sales. Interact with the customers, how to talk to the customer, how to build the relationship, and how to actually sells yourself to the other, people. Like how to put yourself in the situation that you can sell some items easily and convince the customers. So I'm still learning, but it's really great opportunity from John. That is
Yeah,
very
he's been there
nice.
2 weeks, and he's already talking about what I told you guys earlier. It's all about asking questions, connecting with the client, understanding their needs. So thanks, man.
no, I appreciate that, Krishna. Thank you so much.
David.
Yep, David.
Yes, how's it going? Good afternoon, and thank you for you taking time out of your busy schedule to entertain us. So the question that I have is, so I'm kind of nearing my my time with in the military, so wanted to connect with you. I did shoot you a LinkedIn confirmation so we could talk at your earliest convenience as far as
Sure.
things that are available to move forward. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any crayons for sale, but we'll try to help you. And I'm glad I entertained you.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I think we do have a couple, like Nick is actually in foundations. He'll start foundations course next week. So we have got a couple of folks from foundations that are in here this week, finishing out this week in connections, and we'll move to foundations. But Jordy, I know your hand's getting tired. It must be wearing out. So let's get to your question.
Yeah,
Jordy.
thanks, Matt. John, man, what I love listening to you talk every time, man. For those of you who don't know, I've known John, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or something, and
It's been a long time now.
there's probably, I was thinking about it as he's talking. I don't think there's anyone else in the military community who's helped more of his brothers and sisters go on to 6-figure careers than John. So he is extremely talented in his craft at helping you guys get to where you need to be, especially for those who have big financial ambition. And that's not everyone, and that's okay. But I just love your advice. I love your guidance. I love the way you talk straight. Matt, you did an amazing job at emceeing that. You guys had good rapport. That was awesome. And just super, super honored and flattered that you're so supportive of what we're doing here at Seven Eagle. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, and I'll talk to that for just a minute, because I want you guys to hear something. I've done really well, but I haven't done as well as Jordy. So I connected with Jordy and I just started serving him, showing up when he asked me to show up, doing whatever he needed me to do. I've offered Matt, hey, if somebody bails on you guys, just text me. I'll be there. This is the part about network is net worth. If Jordy asked me to be in Boston tomorrow, I would be there. And a lot of you that have been in my classes have seen how I do this over and over and over. I might not have all the answers, but I will connect to somebody who does. And then I'll serve them. Because the only way I get to be successful is if I do that. Because I don't have all the answers, guys. I mean, again, I was an MMA fighter. I got punched in the face for a living. You're not very smart when you do that. You know? So, and I had no clue that Jordy was going to become who he's become. I mean, I was on meetings where we had 10 and 15 people here.
Yeah.
You know? Just
Yeah,
serve
we're
people.
really building a nice community. We got an amazing team doing all this. So it's a groundswell, and I'm glad you guys are a part of it. And we're here for you throughout your careers, not just for this first job. So like you
Yep.
said, you lean on this community, and then you guys are gonna help the next group coming behind you. So such an
That's right.
honor, John. Thank you so much, buddy. We appreciate you. Everybody check him out. Connect, reach out. He's there for you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I'm going to stay